Welcome to Early Days, the podcast where the seeds of innovation and entrepreneurship take root. It's proudly presented by Prowse Barrett LLP. Dive deep into the journeys of trailblazers who are shaping the future. Aimée Beaudoin, welcome to the show. Spotlight Cabaret, the spotlight is on you today.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
You got to tell us the story. For those of you that do not know, Spotlight Cabaret, 87th, just off White Ave, 104th Street. Great location down in Old Strathcona. And full disclosure, we had our Stingray Radio Christmas party there, and everybody absolutely raved, from the food to the dinner theater. How did you even come up with the concept of Spotlight Cabaret?
Well, I was in a TV show with my business partner, Jeff Halaby, and it was a sketch comedy show called Caution May Contain Nuts. You didn't hear of it.
I didn't hear it. Sorry.
That's why it was canceled. But then Jeff and I had a connection. So after that was all done, I called Jeff. I wanted to produce a show, an improv show with him and me. And he was like, how are we going to make money doing that? And I was like, oh, we're not going to make money. It's just going to be fun. We're going to do a show. It'll be fun. And he's like, I don't do things for fun. He's a businessman. He does whatever he does, he has to be fruitful from. So then it was like, okay, well, the only way we could make money is if we sell drinks at the show and we get a liquor license. And so it became like, well, maybe we should rent a hall then. And then we just talked every day for about a month until it became like, maybe we should start a venue. And I had no idea how to do that. I've been an actress/waitress my whole life, but Jeff comes from the business world and had a lot of connections, and he knew how to do that. He owned a liquor store. He owned a couple restaurants before. So we just started talking, and then it was like, what is it going to be? Well, I'd love it to be a dinner theater. I love dinner theater. I love performing in dinner theater. I think all theater should include dinner. I think it's awful otherwise. And just who wants to go to theater with no food, no drinks? I like to have a table, somewhere to put my stuff. I want to be relaxed. I want to enjoy all the things. So that's where it came from. And then it sort of became, what if we do all these different types of entertainment? So then we could do drag. I'm a huge drag fan. We could do burlesque. We could do comedy. I did stand up as well. So I really wanted to do improv. And we were inspired by New Orleans places that are open sort of day to night. And they start out the day as like these coffee shops selling like little espressos and donuts. And then slowly like people kind of start taking the stage and playing. In the afternoon, there's like a folk singer. And then by the nighttime, there's like a band and it's a crazy party and everyone's drinking bourbon. And we're like, let's be that place.
So then, okay, you're sketching out the idea, which is crazy because there's nothing like that in Edmonton. Mm-hmm. And so then you get this idea, then it's got to be, okay, location.
Exactly. And that took us way too long. It was like 2 years of searching for a location. Everywhere we went just wasn't quite right, wasn't perfect. We had a couple deals like almost go through and then fell through at the last minute. We had a cannabis company come in, swoop in and stole our spot and gave them like $100,000 to take it. And we were so mad at them. And it's funny thinking back because we ended up in the absolute perfect spot. And we weren't sure if like, we were old, right? So we didn't know if White Ave was still cool. So we went to White Ave on a Friday night. It was still cool. It's still the place to be. And we were going to open a place right beside where we were. It was called Accent. It was a little European, very small. Mm-hmm. And we went next door because Jeff's cousins owned the place next door. And so Jeff's Lebanese, and culturally it was like, even not culturally, but it's nice to just kind of ask for the blessing. So we asked if it was okay if he opened a business next door. And then they said, actually, we love your guys' idea. What if you did it in here instead of down there? And then I went up there and looked up there and it was like, oh yeah, no, I want to be up here in this place. This is amazing. So it was just really kismet and really a beautiful sort of happenstance that we ended up where we did. Our poor realtor.
Yeah, after all of this, you end up.
Just doing it on our own. Yeah.
So, and what you chose was a place, because I think the one great thing about Spotlight Cabaret is the size of it, because it's really tight and small and intimate almost.
Yes, it's very intimate. That's what people love about it, and why people, I think, really connect with the performances, because they're so close to the performers and you're right there, and we walk around and we go table to table, and it's true at cabaret. Cabaret translated means a small room. So
Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
See, okay, I'm going to write that down. Jackie Ray learned something on. So you have the Spotlight Cabaret, and you do at dinner theater, burlesque, drag, there's improv. But then suddenly you have a rooftop now.
Yes.
So when did that come into the play?
The rooftop was there. It used to be a Chili's. So the rooftop, I believe, was like fully built out by the Chili's people. And then it was an O2's. And then, that was the thing with that patio. The business before, it was all patio. And then like, hope we can survive the winter until the patio again. And so with us, it's like patio. And then we have this great thing going on in the winter. So it's really nice, except we have to like change all the time. Like we change to being a patio, and then we change back to being a dinner theater, and it's a lot of changing the menus, changing all the staff training, changing. Most restaurants don't change that much. We transform every year, twice a year. So
for me, I'm sitting here going, because you coming from the creative side of it, and now you're having to learn the business side of it. How does both those sides of the brain mesh for you? How do you make that work?
I always, we joke, because when I was going to these business meetings with Jeff, like I had my like pink backpack and my little notepad with a squirrel with a water balloon on it and a funny face. And that's pretty much my business skills. So I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not a perfectionist at all. I think if I was a perfectionist, it would be very difficult. So we just always joke like, businessman, I'm a businessman. And I don't know how to answer that. I just try to do my best. I work really hard and try to be as professional as possible. But I think people are refreshed by the realness that I bring. So, because before it was me, I was the box office, I was the manager, the floor manager, everything. So all the communications and stuff had to be very sort of light and airy, because I didn't have time to write big, long emails. So, but people like that now, and then I hear people learning in business school, like to do that, to be more friendly and
concise,
real,
to
right?
the point.
Yeah.
Because we're inundated with so much information, so much. It is. I actually, when dealing with you, I did love that. Bam, bam. Okay, good. Like that. I love that.
She's on to me.
So, once you and Jeff, you think of the concept, you got the location, and then you build it to your specifications. Now you got to let people know. So how did you roll Spotlight Cabaret out to the public?
Secret restaurant. Shh, don't tell anybody.
Okay. Shh.
Yeah, I wasn't very smart. We were like, we'll do a soft opening. We'll open really soft. We'll just quietly open. And then, we were worried about getting overwhelmed with too much. And then it was like completely dead.
Crickets.
Yeah, so we were like, maybe not secret restaurant. But then it was very hot. So the patio, which was a known patio from before, came through. And I mean, that patio, if it's a hot day, it's just like wild. Like I've been a server my whole life. I've never seen like an 8-hour rush. Like it never stops. And the computer in the back's just like, and the kitchen's like losing their mind. Everybody quit the first summer, the whole kitchen, all the staff, like everybody was just overworked. So it was a big wake up call. And then when COVID hit, the very next year, it was also crazy busy because it was more safe to be outside. So the patio again was just hit with lots of people.
So what is your strategy now to make sure everyone doesn't quit at the end of a summer now?
Well, COVID helped because we were seating like more, about 25% more up there. And then with COVID, we had to cut it back 50. So we realized people were staying longer, they were drinking more, we were functioning better, we were serving people better, and everything was smooth and working wonderfully with 50% capacity. So in the end, we're at 75% of what we were, and it's a dream.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
See, something positive came out of it.
Yeah, it taught us how to run our business. It was great in that way. And
so now with, so you've got the restaurant, the rooftop patio. Now with the Spotlight Cabaret, how do you have, how many plays during the course of the year? How many dinner theaters?
Two.
Yeah.
Okay. We can only do two because we do one in the start of the winter and then one in the winter spring. And then in the summer, we can't do them because the patio is too loud and people coming and going. So,
yeah. Do you do anything during Fringe or?
We do. Yeah. We do Fringe stuff. By then it's like a little quieter. We try to get loud Fringe shows that are more musical or comedy. And we do live music all through the summer and dueling pianos and stuff like that. But just, we can't do like a normal play.
A normal play, yeah.
Not that our plays are very normal.
I was just going to say, Spotlight Cabaret and normal is just, that's not quite meshing. Now, for you, you have a pretty rich background in performance across a lot of disciplines. So how has your personal artistic journey influenced what you do at Spotlight?
It's a lot of comedy. I mean, Jeff and I met in comedy and we were writers on that show. And so I think people are maybe not expecting when they come to get this kind of sketch comedy show, which is essentially what our shows are. They're parodies of big movies and whatnot. But in the end, they're basically just a bunch of little sketches and everything has to be funny and everything has to be a joke. And we're always going for the laugh and that's it. So that, and then just I've been so influenced by drag and burlesque through having Spotlight, and I didn't know about those art forms before. And the artistry there has inspired me so much in our main stage shows too. The rhinestoning and the things you can do just to elevate a costume and elevate a performance. And I get my wigs done by like the best drag wig artist in the city. And it's amazing what I've learned from those art forms too.
Isn't that, and once you come up with you sit and brainstorm and shoot, okay, what movie are we going to do? And then, okay, and with sketch comedy, it is just sketch, or is it bullet points? You have to have a roadmap, right? Yeah,
we meet up at a coffee shop and sort of go through and then just kind of improv each other and just make each other laugh going through like, okay, now what happens? Okay, they go here and they say this, what do they talk about? And we just try to make each other laugh, basically. So you might see us at a coffee shop around town sometime.
And if they're not laughing, that's a bad thing.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, there's just a slog through some of those shows. It's like, that was really hard. We did a kids show for the Fringe, The Tiniest Mermaid. It was the hardest script we ever wrote. Like, we struggled so much. It turned out really well, but it was like, man, this kids show's killing me. And then you go do it and it's like 3-year-olds and you're like, oh, we could have done anything.
And they would have loved it. Now you're sitting here, you're a mom, your little one's under a year old, and so you're an entrepreneur, you have your own business, and you have a little one. So how are you juggling everything?
Not very well. It's really, really hard. I'm on a light maternity leave. I can't really leave, but I'm still doing what I can, and my mom's helping me, but it's hard. I mean, you don't know until you have a kid how hard it is, for sure.
And especially running your own business.
Yeah, because there's no one else I can train to do what I need to do. So it's just basically neglect. Lots of neglect.
Of who? The kid or the
both?
Both.
Both my babies.
Do you have a story from your career that you found it was particularly challenging to especially getting this business going? Is there's one thing that sticks out where you go, ooh, wish I had done that better, or ooh, don't want to do that again?
Man, there were so many struggles. We continuously got shut down in the beginning. That was really hard. We had, I can't even, like licensing issues. We wanted to do burlesque and I mean, I don't want to say too much, but the AGLC basically was like, no, you can't do burlesque because you don't have the right license, and everything was based around burlesque, which is this kind of gray area of like, you know, it's not adult entertainment. It is adult entertainment, but it's not full on. And when we wanted to do drag queen bingo, it was the same issue because it's like gambling, but it was free bingo. So it's a lot of that. Yeah, we got shut down like 3 times before COVID even happened. And I'm like, I'm just trying to do some tassels and some sparkles here, people. Like,
why are you making this so difficult?
Yeah. So I just thought when COVID shut us down, I was like, oh, another shutdown. Like, that's just how a restaurant goes.
That's probably a great way to deal with it, really, when you think about it. Now, with that, you know, talking about your business, really, I've always noticed from your servers to your bartenders to your actors that you emphasize diversity, inclusivity, body positivity. Was that a part of the business plan?
Yeah. Yes, it was. Yeah, our TV show was all about that as well. It was Colors of the Rainbow cast and like all about diversity. It was on APTN, and my mom's a wonderful person and has instilled that kind of love for diversity in me from a young age. So it was always a part of the plan was to have diversity on the stage, and it just makes everything better and more interesting. And we have so much diverse talent in Edmonton, so it's important to have that highlighted, and that's been from day one. We've had that, and I'm really proud of us for having that.
So when you opened up the secret restaurant and then finally realized, shh, don't tell anybody we're starting a business, and you realized you had to, obviously that with all of those communities you're supporting, they probably responded to that as well, because a lot of you are sold out now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are. It's an easy sellout. It's a 90-seat room, so it's kind of nice because it's easy, very easy to sell out. But yeah, if everybody's digging it, the price point is low. I grew up without very much money. We didn't have money to go to the theater or dinner theater. I remember my friends going to Jubilations when I was younger, and I was like, oh, wow, that's so fancy. I wish I could go there. And I then worked at Jubilations for 12 years. And yeah, I just want a big part of our vision, or my vision with it, is to keep the price point low enough that everyone can afford to come.
Boy, could you talk to other businesses? Could you talk to the Oilers Entertainment Group?
They have a bigger spot. Their heating bill's through the roof.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Now, as you look ahead to the future, you've got things are rolling with Spotlight Cabaret. You've got the rooftop patio going. What do you see as your future as you look to 2025?
Oh, man. It's funny because when we first kind of figured out Spotlight and what it was going to be and got our formula, I was like, this will never franchise ever. It's so much work. Like it's so much work. You know, if it wasn't that much work, everybody would run a show bar, because how awesome is that, right? It's so much fun. But the workload is insane. The dealings with so many different people, the communications with so many different people. But now that it's been a couple of years, I'm like, oh, maybe we could expand somewhere. I'd love to open up a spot like Calgary or Winnipeg or somewhere in the States even. I have my U.S. citizenship, so I've never used it.
Okay.
I don't really want to go down there now, but we won't get into that.
Yeah, probably not. That's a whole other show. Well, and because with the theme, once you've landed on this, very unique, and it is unique. I don't think there's anybody else doing what you're doing that I'm aware of.
I don't think so. Not quite the same. Yeah. We got the 1920s vibe too.
Yes, I was going to ask that. How did you land on that? That's because the room feels that when you walk in, right?
We knew we wanted a theme, and then I think it was Jeff said, I'll give him credit on that one. I think he said, how about 1920s? And I was like, oh yeah, 1920s, yeah. And again, we're so blessed that we did that, because we did that whole build out before COVID, because all the like those chandeliers went up like $300 each. Those chandeliers are now from when we bought them. So we couldn't have built that room the way we built it 2 years later. So thank you, universe.
Yeah. Yeah, you're born and raised Edmontonian?
I'm actually from Tomahawk, Alberta.
No, Danny Hooper country.
Yes. You're going to hug and high five after this.
Yeah, see, I'm probably the only one that knows where the heck Tomahawk is.
You know, it's funny. I put it in my bio, and every night at Spotlight, someone's like, Tomahawk! Like, they know it. It's a very small hamlet with like 37 people population, for those of you that don't know.
Jeez, my goodness, two great entertainers from Tomahawk. Who knew? How can our listeners, viewers, learn more about Spotlight Cabaret, or if they want to visit, where do we find you?
You can find us at spotlightcabaret.ca. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We have a very great presence on there with tons of pictures and videos.
Can you tease and tell us what's going to happen? What you're looking at as a parody in 2025?
The next show?
Yeah.
Well, we've been between some different ideas, but I think maybe sort of kind of, don't hold me to it. We're going to probably do Romeo and Juliet's Notebook.
Oh, no.
That's not the reaction I want.
I always think I did go to the Citadel Theatre and saw their production of Romeo and Juliet, and Juliet had a cold, and so she's up on the balcony, and she's talking to Romeo, and you're, Romeo, where held the, well, I got the giggles. I had to leave because it was a very serious scene.
And you were laughing?
And I'm laughing
God.
because she's dripping on poor Romeo. So now that's whenever I hear Romeo and Juliet, but Romeo and Juliet Notebook.
Yeah.
It's going to be classic.
Combo.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next one, when I come back, I think we're going to do Snow White and the Seven Goodfellas. And it's going to be Snow White mixed with gangsta movies.
I think those listening are looking up your website right now, looking at how they can find out more. Aimée, thank you so much, and best of luck with the little one.
Thank you.
And well, actually, two little ones. You have Donovan as well.
I know, my little men. And 2 dogs.
Oh, and 2 dogs.
So many furry little creatures in my house.
From Spotlight Cabaret, Aimée Beaudoin, thank you so very much. And in wrapping up this episode, we're reminded that entrepreneurship is a path filled with learning and growth. Big thanks to our presenting sponsor, Prowse Barrett LLP. Consider them in the future, whether it's advice on commercial transactions, protecting your intellectual property, or navigating employment law. Prowse Barrett LLP has the expertise to guide you. Here's to your success and the journey ahead. Thanks for tuning into Early Days. Aimée, thank you.
Thank you so much.
This series is proudly produced by the team at Road 55. Road 55 creates content that connects. For more information, visit our website at road55.ca.